In today's episode, I'm taking you to a special place to meet an exceptional group of young moms. I'm teaching basic cooking skills to these single struggling moms in effort to help them provide healthier and more nutritious food to their kids. I will also share an easy recipe on stuffed peppers, which we are preparing for our little get-together. Recently, my nonprofit organization partnered up with another nonprofit organization in our town to help a group of single struggling moms obtain stability and to help them keep their families intact. Easy breezy. All we're doing now is just forming it, and you still want to work all this ends. You want to work them in, okay? During my work with this wonderful group, my goal was to provide a series of classes in which these young moms would learn not just cooking, but other important life skills. This was a great opportunity to address many important topics, from eating healthier and providing nutritious food to the kids, to economical shopping, preserving food, to creating an atmosphere in your home that's warm and welcoming and safe for themselves and for their kids. We had fun discussing many different topics, but the best part was creating all natural recipes and foods that were actually good for them and their kids, like those bars and this homemade pumpkin pie. So today's class is all about using the ingredients that we already have in the fridge to create new meals. And also the point of the class is to learn how to use certain ingredients sooner than other ingredients. Organize everything, see what needs to go right away, what stuff we could leave for the next week, or how can we make our food last longer, or how can we run the kitchen most economically. This particular class was lots of fun. Not only did we have a chance to clean up and organize our fridge, but we also took an inventory of food that was already available and created dinner using what we already had. Okay, we'll put the food aside for a minute, and I would like you to meet these exceptional young moms.
Hi, my name is Lauren. I'm 26 years old. I have a daughter. She's 7 months old. Her name's Aurora. In this program, we have cooking classes, and it's really amazing that we can have someone come out here and show us how to cook and provide for our kids.
My name is Ashley. I'm 29 years old. I have 2 kids, Nolan and Maddox, 7 years old and 7 months old. I'm living a life of recovery right now. I was on the street, homeless on the streets, addicted to meth and alcohol. Basically, I'm trying to change my life. I have almost 9 months clean, and I want to be there for my kids. So this cooking class is something that'll teach me to grow closer with my children. My mom has guardianship of my 7-year-old, so right now I'm learning to basically be there for him and be the best mom that I can be. The hardest thing about being a single mom is basically balancing life balances. So being able to have enough time for my 7-year-old and my 7-month-old, because they do require certain different degrees of attention. And so basically my 7-year-old, I'm just trying to grow, like I said, closer with him. This cooking class will be able to allow me to grow closer to my 7-year-old son. So my addiction is a lifelong disease, and if I were not to have the support that I have here, there's a possibility that I could relapse. But I do have this support here. Yeah, I have to stay strong in my recovery, and this is actually definitely a tool, like the cooking class is a tool of mine to keep myself busy.
My name is Joni Penaloza. I'm 32 years old. And I have 2 daughters. I have custody of one only, Karina. She's 8 months, and I'm currently looking at visitation for my oldest daughter, who is 8 years old. Very religious family, but my dad was an alcoholic, and there was a lot of abuse in my family. You have to pause it. Yeah. So the way I dealt with it, we never talked about it. We were too scared to talk to like our parents about it. We didn't have anyone to turn to. So as I got older, I turned to drugs, and drugs kind of took over my life. And years went by, and before you know it, I'm years in addiction, and it was a struggle, because that's not the way I wanted to live, and I wanted a way out, and I couldn't find one. So finally I ended up doing inpatient, and I got help, and today I'm happy to say that I am 9 months clean and sober, and it has a lot to do with the program, and I want to teach my children a different lifestyle. So
what is that lifestyle? If you could envision a lifestyle for your child, what would it be?
A lifestyle with no drugs, just a clean, safe environment, and with both of my daughters having what is necessary, And I think I'm getting all the tools here provided, and I'm applying everything I can. I'm happy today because I get to live clean, and I live sober, and I'm gonna take everything I can from this, definitely. The hardest thing about this is that, like your food preparation, I have to start from the scratch. Yeah, from ingredient number 1. Yeah. And I didn't finish school, so I already passed my language arts part of the GED test, so I have to start literally from the bottom, and I want to eventually build a career, and so I can have something to show to my daughters. And I want to just be a positive role model for my daughters, and I want to give back. I want to give back as well, like people have given to me. 2 years, I see myself with a career, dental hygienist, and I see myself providing and having a little more to offer to everybody.
I see myself having a part-time job and having a full-time and being in college full-time to become a paralegal.
I'm going to be financially independent. I'm going to have a full-time job or be in school for ultrasound technician. I'm going to have my own place. I'm going to have my other son back. I'm going to have a custody of him back, and I'll be happy.
Part of the program was simply spending time together and creating an environment in which everybody felt welcome and accepted and comfortable to have a heart-to-heart conversation.
I was never given direction, like the example my parents did. Like my dad, he beat us.
Regardless of our life situations, I believe that we should strive to create more places and environments in which acceptance, care, love, and compassion is shared. An approach like this will benefit us all.
More bubbly, and both my parents were working parents, and so I was a pretty good kid. Like I was above average, and I just thought.
I was just gonna say, I was just encouraged with a word of advice that everything that you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. Mm-hmm. So, and I took that and I ran with it. So that's why I'm here today, is because this scares the living heaven.
It's out of your comfort zone.
Yes. I really. I was so scared to even fill out the application, but I strived that whole day just to get it, get it in.
So as you can see, there are countless needs, ways, and opportunities to help others. For me, food has always been that perfect vehicle to bring them all back home. Home is a perfect sanctuary for both growth and healing. In today's era, when families are getting busier and busier and we are bombarded with the opportunities and availability of internet, we would like to use this episode to remind you of the importance of family time. And since today's episode is all about creating the home atmosphere, I think it's most appropriate that we make a really traditional recipe. We will be making stuffed peppers. So I'm getting a little creative with this recipe today by adding squash. And as I said, this recipe is so easy to make, and you have the freedom to incorporate your favorite vegetables in the same recipe. I'm going with the sweet onions. And we need about 1 medium head. Anyway, that was a mean onion. So much for sweetness. So this is the part where chef starts to cry and gets emotional, and all this good makeup goes to ruins. Anyway, we have 1 head of onion, and we're gonna cook that for a little bit. So we're going with 3 sticks of celery. And again, my intention with this recipe is to incorporate as many different vegetables as possible, because kids, once the dish is finished, kids won't even know that we have all these vegetables in a dish. Okay, onions are cooking, and we're just gonna add celery to it. We're gonna increase the fire. The reason I decided to add some of this squash is, first of all, this squash is extremely fragrant. It smells so good. Also, it's gonna add a lot of texture and creaminess to the recipe, not to mention that it's gonna add in a nutritional value. If you ask kids, do they like squash and zucchinis? Most of the kids will say no, but then you have to be clever and create dishes in which these vegetables will almost disappear, and all that you're left with is a good tasting texture and flavors that kids won't even know where they're coming from. So let's add squash, and then we'll do some carrots. Unfortunately for me, I do everything the old-fashioned way, which takes a little bit longer initially. Isn't this just pretty to see all these colors coming together? The bright orange and the bright yellow. So we're gonna let this cook for a little bit. And then I'm gonna add green zucchini. So far we have onions, celery, we have carrots, and squash in our mixture. All of these ingredients are semi-dry. So making stuffed peppers, this is the one thing that you wanna avoid. You don't wanna have a dry mixture inside once you cut in your pepper. So to offset that, I'm adding some mushrooms and zucchini. And I'm gonna go with about 1.5 cups of fresh mushroom. All right, let's add mushrooms. All right, I'm gonna increase the fire a little bit because we're bringing moisture to this dish, and we already have this golden brown onions and carrots and zucchini, so this is very good. So we're adding this at the perfect time. And while mushrooms cook, I'm gonna quickly shred some zucchini and add that as well. We should go with 2 zucchinis. We are really cooking now. This is sizzling, and that's what we want. Okay, here goes zucchini. Oh, look at this beautiful golden onions on the bottom. This is what's going to give this dish that caramelized flavor. Okay, this is a good time to add spices. So we'll go ahead with salt, pepper, maybe a little bit of paprika, just for the color. And I sometimes like to use a little bit of cumin in my dishes. And so it depends what your favorite flavors are. You're welcome to incorporate your favorite spices in this dish. Salt for your taste, and we're using some sea salt. Or if you have bouillon cubes, this would be also a good thing to use. About a teaspoon of cumin. Hungarian paprika, and if you don't have a Hungarian paprika, you can use chili pepper. And since we can do whatever we want with this dish, I'm also going to put just a little bit of turmeric. You can't go wrong with this spice. And we're going to finish it with a little bit of black pepper. Next is ground turkey. This recipe would be great with Italian sausage, beef or chicken, even lamb. But I chose turkey because it's very light. So we're going with 2 pounds of ground turkey. Now we're going to mix meat and vegetable really good together. And what's left to do is adding rice and maybe just finish it up with some additional spices. We will try this after we're done and see if we want to add more salt or more pepper, more garlic. And beside rice, we'll add a couple of eggs, and then we can start stuffing our peppers. So to save time, pre-cook the rice ahead of time. And I have a cup of rice into 2 cups of water. You can use chicken broth, it would be so much better, but I didn't have it, so I have just the plain water. But the important thing is that your rice is pre-cooked, which will cut down on baking time once we put the peppers to bake. Before we add eggs, you want to mix the rice in really well and try it one more time to make sure that salt and spices are right where you want them to be. You know what this dish would be really good with? If we started this with smoked bacon, and if with the olive oil we add a little bit of smoked bacon to that would have been so good. But we're trying to stay healthy, right? Not to say the bacon is not healthy, but I'm just looking at this dish and I'm thinking, oh, I would not mind some of that smoky flavor in this. Okay, so here comes the moment of truth. Let's see what we got here. Okay, it's so good. You don't need the peppers, you don't need to bake it, you don't need to do anything. You can just scoop this up in a dish and eat it with the salad, just the way it is.
Next, we need to add 2 eggs.
And we're just gonna mix in eggs. I'm adding 2, but you can add 3 if you wish. So what eggs will do, they will keep the texture together. When it comes to cleaning peppers, there are a couple of different ways to do this. And I think it's all to your preference. Some people will simply chop up the whole top of the pepper and stuff it. In my mind, when I cook, I'm always thinking about how to preserve as much food as possible. So what I do, I make a small opening on the top, and I like to have this lip, if you will, because I feel that this kind of keeps all the juices in, and it also saves this part of the pepper, which is perfectly edible, and it's good. So I hate to waste food, and this is just my way of stuffing peppers. But if you prefer to do stuff like this, that's perfectly fine too. So this makes things easier to stuff, and perhaps it would look better on the top, but again, this is all to your preference. All right, and so we're ready to stuff our peppers now. So peppers are done, and all that's left to do is to add the sauce at the bottom. And I want to make sure that each pepper gets a little bit of this sauce. And so I will rinse the jar and add maybe about a 1/3 cup of water into this. Should add water on the bottom, like this. Shake it really well, make sure it's everywhere. We'll cover them for the first maybe 40 minutes or so, and then we will uncover them and top them with this amazing smoked cheese.
Rest of the stuffing I will store in the fridge, and I will use it in a day or 2 to make stuffed zucchinis. And while I'm cleaning up the kitchen, peppers are in the oven on 350 for about 45 minutes.
I think peppers are ready. So I'm purposely going with the smoked cheddar because I like that smoky flavor, and since I didn't put any bacon in this recipe, this is kind of gonna make up for that. So just a little bit of cheese, and then we're gonna put them back in the oven for less than 3 minutes, just enough so the cheese will melt. Another 2 or 3 minutes, and we're ready to eat. Okay, I'm impatient, and so I'm taking them out. Ideally, I would have this on a broiler so that the top and the cheese would have that brown burnt flavor and look on the top. And let's get one of these. Let's get this big yellow one. You see how nice and thick the juice is? We didn't use any flour. This is looking really, really, really good. All right. And the best part is, look at all this nice steam coming out straight out of the oven. And let's just finish it up with a little bit of parsley. And what would go really good with this is a slice of a fresh home-baked bread. But we're all trying to eat healthier these days, and we're staying away from too many carbs. So no bread. We have a rice inside, so this is good enough as it is. And now the peppers are done. All that's left to do is to pack them and share them with the rest of the girls.
You're recording.
Months after working together, we decided to throw a party for ourselves and our kids. A party and a picnic, and a reason to celebrate our hard work, our friendship, and all the good things that we have in our lives. All the moms were so proud to participate and bring their dish to the table. I too was very proud, but I was proud of them and of their effort, knowledge, and most of all, I was proud of their resilience. Idea behind this little get-together was also to acknowledge and share simply a good day and a good time with our friends and our kids. And of course, this was a perfect excuse to have lots and lots of good food for dinner.
Okay, so
What?
one healthy thing that makes stuff good, and then
Ooh! Oh my God!
those are me.
Yeah, Molly loves to cook.
She's good at it. I tried.
This looks mean!
Yeah. I took some of my grandparents. My grandma was like, "Oh my God, you gotta come back and bring more." And like,
A lot of zucchini, a lot of mushrooms. You won't even taste it, but it's gonna be good. So let's see if he comes back. Oh, come over here. You know, thieves usually come back for more.
oh, he wants spaghetti now. Oh, he wants sharing spaghetti.
Oh, look at your food. This is the menace tonight. He's been stealing the food. Okay, getting into it before the dinner time. All right, let's eat. And while we enjoy our dinner tonight, I wanted to share some surprising statistics on single parenting in America today. Single motherhood has grown so common in America that today 86% of single parent families are led by single mothers. Nearly a third of these live in poverty.
And hungry, huh?
Roughly 15 million of single moms in America today are raising 22 million of American youth.
You want spaghetti?
This is an astonishing increase of 300% since 1960.
What happened to your hair? Is that chocolate?
I want to play something. Can I? Yeah. Okay. One day there was a bunny. He was lost. He had a good day. And a girl picked him up. He was happy. His heart felt warm. Ow!
I find it hard to believe and accept that 1 in every 5 children is living with just one parent. According to National Coalition for Homeless, children under age of 18 made up 39% of population of homeless shelters, and 42% of these kids were younger than 5. In addition, single mothers with minor children are the fastest growing group of people needing service from homeless shelters. Despite alarming statistics, I'm a firm believer that there is a hope and a solution for this rising trend. One of them is investing our time and resources to build stronger and healthier American families. Initiative like this will require more than a government's involvement alone. Luckily, there are great resources within our communities to help solve this problem. This particular project was funded by local Riverside Kaiser Permanente and collaboration of Vladas Seeds of Life and Rancho de Macedas. Another great resource are community volunteers. In a country where we have a freedom and opportunity to be proactive, volunteering is one of the best ways to make a difference in your communities. Family is the most important single cell of society. It has always been that way. Unfortunately, families are disconnecting more than ever in America today. With this in mind, I would like to encourage you to reach out to your community and see if you can be of service with your talents, your time, or your funds to support organizations who support single parents. Raising happy, emotionally, mentally, and physically healthy kids is the most important job in America today. And while doing it, you might just find yourself having more fun than you ever imagined you could.
Thank you for supporting Vlada's Seeds of Life. It's been a great opportunity for her to come in here. I look forward to this class every single time she comes.
To all of you supporting us, thank you so much. This makes a really big difference in our life. We really appreciate that.
Thank you for all the support for the Vlada Seeds of Life program, and all the moms here are just super thankful for uniting us in the kitchen, and just, we love you guys. Thank you.
Like, God listened to my prayers. He didn't leave me behind. Feels good.
Feels good. Very good. To find out more about the nonprofit work of Vlada Seeds of Life and how you too could get involved, please visit www.vladav.com. Thank you all for watching, and until the next time, please take good care of yourselves and those around you.